Welcome to Disruptive Capitalists, the show where purpose-driven entrepreneurs and bold investors share how they're reshaping the world by investing time and money in a way that improves lives and creates wealth. So let's get to it. Hey everyone, thank you for joining us again today for another great episode of the Disruptive Capitalist podcast, where we talk about how to use our time, money, possessions, capitalism for good, and disrupt the old way of doing things where it's just all about that ROI. My guest today is Joshua Tomeoni. He's the author of The Gospel of an Ex-Derelict, Fight, Fail, Rebuild, which I love. He's a certified financial planner for over 19 years, a father, men's coach who rebuilt his life after addiction, divorce, and burnout. Today, he helps men reclaim their identity, lead with authenticity, and build lasting legacy. Through raw truth, spiritual insight, and tactical strategies, he guides men through collapse into purpose, resilience, and reinvention. Josh, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks so much for having me, brother. Appreciate it.
So for those of you listening, you may not recognize Josh, or if you're watching, you may not recognize Josh because about 3 days ago, he had a beard the size of Texas. And today he's clean shaven, beautiful as a baby. Look at that.
I know I lose a lot of years. So it's a good trick. Right. For all the guys out there that are feeling like they're getting old and fat or something, just get old and fat with a beard and then get in shape and then get in shape and then shave off the beard. And then all of a sudden you just lost 20 years.
Yeah. Nobody knows. Yeah,
it works. I've done it before. This is coming from personal experience. I'm not, it works great.
Well, dude, tell us, because you run your own podcast, you're very active in the world. Tell us a little bit more about what you're doing. Just tell us more about what you're doing.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll give you kind of a brief history. So I've been doing financial planning, as you mentioned, for a long time, almost 2 decades now. And it's pretty much all I've known my entire adult life. All along the way, though, I've always had a heart for men specifically. Not that I don't have a heart for women, but men specifically that are a little outcast, a little thrown aside, a little put over there. And that's actually where the original name of the brand, Derelict, came from, because derelict means cast aside, thrown asunder, etc.
It didn't come from Zoolander.
It did. That's the only reference anyone ever knows, and I still have not made the shirt that says "Derelict my balls" yet, but it probably will happen eventually. I did a social media post on it, but yeah, that's the only thing. But derelict, really, just like if you Google it, you're going to see a bunch of broken down houses, a bunch of broken down vehicles, boats, etc. And we were talking about this a little bit before you hit record, in the sense that you've had some of this in your own life, where you think you know where you're going a certain direction, and then all of a sudden it switches, and then during that switch, sometimes it's hard to keep friends, keep family, keep community, or really know where you fit. Like for myself, I was married with kids for a very long time. And then the marriage imploded for many reasons that were my fault, many reasons that were her fault, many reasons that were our fault. I'm not on here to complain about, an ex or anything like that, because I had plenty to blame in it myself. But when that happened, I didn't realize, and I think a lot of guys don't realize this, honestly, that are married and have kids, how much your life really revolves around that until you get out of that. Like you might have an idea, oh, my wife, my life revolves around my wife and my kids, etc. But when you step out of that and all of a sudden you're the single male, in my case, single male in my mid-30s with money, you all of a sudden realize, like, wow, all of the things that were important to me, are they even important to me anymore? Who am I? What's going on? And that was originally why I grew the beard. And then I shaved off the beard because I realized there was a next level of my development that I've gone through for the last, let's say, year or so. And that is really becoming an ex-derelict, which is the title of my book. So it's moving past that identity of being thrown aside, cast aside, to be able to actually walk into your own identity, your own authenticity, who you really are. And I don't just mean the things that define you. I don't just mean work and family and spouse and kids. I mean, why are you on this planet? And I mentioned earlier that I've been mentoring guys all my life. The very first time I can remember mentoring a guy, I was 4. I was in preschool, and I remember this other little preschool kid that didn't have any friends, and he was kind of like cast aside, and I just kind of took him under my wing, and I just was like his buddy, right? And I honestly hadn't thought about that experience until years later when I started coaching men. I was like, oh, this has always been inside of me. And I'm a financial planner, so I coach by nature. That's part of what I do. Part of what I do is just somebody coming to me. Here's all the open the kimono of all the finances. Here's what's going on. Diagnose me, doctor. That's basically what happens to me on the financial side. So I do a lot of coaching already, but I've had this really deep passion for actually coaching men in a world, especially right now, brother, that doesn't really think a whole lot of men. I mean, we get a lot of shit just for being a guy. Like, oh, we're the problem, and we're sexist, and we're chauvinistic, and we're toxic, and all these different things that we hear about masculinity. And I'm here to be one of the voices that tries to change that and to try to say, no, authentic masculinity is actually it's beautiful, just like authentic femininity is. Mm-hmm. It's a very, very beautiful thing. Could it be used misappropriately? Of course. So can femininity, yet we never hear about toxic femininity for some reason. Not sure why, but it's just as prevalent.
Well, it's like the soup du jour, right? Like, what are people angry about today? And there's this book called How to Kill 11 Million People. And it's just about how Hitler was able to find things that people didn't like because they didn't understand. We don't like what we don't understand. And some people take that to an astronomical level, right? Like, I don't understand Charlie Cook, I'm going to kill him, right? Or how can Republicans hate women so much? I'm like, Republicans hate women? Well, yeah, because they don't want them to have a choice about their baby, right? And like, well, maybe they just like babies. And then, it's like, how do you spin the language or vice versa, right? How can someone be a Democrat and blah, 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 blah. It's like, how do you spin the language and create an enemy? And when you can create an enemy, then you can create a following. Mm-hmm. And when you can create a following, then you can get money and power. Mm-hmm. And so that's what Hitler did, was he wanted to create an enemy. He didn't care about Jews. Jews became the enemy. But before the Jews became the enemy, it was the gypsies. Gypsies were the first enemy. And he killed tons of those. We don't ever talk about those. Millions of gypsies and transients and immigrants. Like, he also killed Jews, which is in the books. We don't talk about the gypsies and everybody else that he killed. And it's absolutely, homosexuals, black people. I mean, there's a bunch of different things. If you didn't look like me, you're getting killed. Right. And because it was, he needed.
So why do we focus on the one? That's a great point.
Because it's easy. Mm-hmm. It's easy. And so
I would also say that there's a lot of money backing the one that we're focused on. Just a thought.
I would agree. And because they make a lot of money on that focus, like it doesn't, to him, it didn't matter. He didn't care one way or the other. If it was anybody, he just wanted somebody.
I appreciate you saying that as well, because one of the things that really drives me crazy in the manosphere, the man space right now, mm-hmm. that I'm in, right? Like, I'm a part of it. But 90-something% of men, especially influencers online, are talking about one of two things. They're talking about bank accounts and belt buckles. They're talking about, how do you get in better shape? How do you get that six pack? Or how do you make more money? That's it. And mm-hmm. I can easily fall into that. I mean, I just went through a really big health goal. It's part of the reason I shaved the beard. I got a six pack for the first time in my life, which was awesome. So like, I worked my ass off to do that. It was really difficult. I had no idea how difficult that was at 41 years old. I've never done it before in my life. It was extremely difficult. So I'm not degrading that. And I'm also a financial planner for 2 decades, but I'll be the first to tell you that those are not the two most important things. They're just not. Or maybe they're a mix within everything else. So like, one of the things I say about my book is it's like a spiritual knife fight. Think about it that way. But most people aren't doing that. They're thinking of just some sort of, like I said, the six pack, the bank account. They're not thinking about, when I go through a difficult transition in my life, whether it's divorce or addiction or a business failure or financial failure, whatever it is, or you do or anybody does, what what is the process that I'm going through to actually learn to become the next best version of myself? And that is not just do a bunch of crunches and make a bunch of money, because that will not make you happy. I've done all of those things.
Yeah.
I've now officially checked one of the last ones off the list, which was get a 6-pack, and then all the business success and everything else that I've had in my life, none of it made me complete and joyful and the person that is actually living my mission on the planet. The only thing that did that wasn't my divorce. It was going through my divorce, responding poorly, deciding to go out and party and do all the stuff that I did right after my divorce, and then having a spiritual awakening after that to realize this is not me. How do I use this pain for good? And now how do I rebuild so that I can be there for brothers that are going through this really tough time that don't know where to reach out? Because us as dudes, let's be honest, bro, we don't know where to reach out. We don't know who to talk to. Most of us don't want to go to therapy, and the ones that do go to therapy kind of think it's a waste of time a lot of the time. And I'm a fan of therapy. I went to it for years, but therapy doesn't help you move forward. It helps you look past and get present. What a lot of guys don't realize is they just need some coaching moving forward. And the coaching, trust me, you can get the best body in the world and have all the money in the world and be completely miserable. We all know that.
And I know we're both very interested in Dan Martell, a lot of stuff that he does. One of the things that he talks about is if you get in shape, you'll make more money. And I always find that comment interesting because it's always said by people who made a lot of money and then got in shape.
Every single time. I've heard that same comment from multiple people that were overweight and they were working on their business and they weren't focusing on their health. And then they made all this money and then they decided to get healthy. I don't agree with that statement whatsoever. I've seen plenty of guys get in great shape and they don't make more money.
Right.
And no one also, by the way, let's just talk about this. Making money is no one's mission on the planet. No one. People might say my mission is to make more money and they're greedy assholes and that's all they care about. But I guarantee you that is not the ultimate motivation. There's something else that's deeper always. Whether it's fame or success or feeling a validation or having a bunch of women reach out to you in your DMs. I don't care what it is. There's something else that is in here that we're all trying to fill up with the 6-pack and the money and all the other shit, instead of just like sitting and being present and feeling our emotions and going through them. And I'm not talking sitting cross-legged in a circle singing Kumbaya. I'm saying being present with what's going on and not ignoring it. Another great example of that I was just watching this morning is David Goggins, who is one of a kind, right? Like he's just a one of a kind dude. And I'm often worried for him. And you want to know why? It's not because of the fact that he's not intense. And like, I like a lot of his stuff. I love a lot of the things he says. I love his commitment and discipline and everything else. I think he's a very respectful guy in a lot of ways. But his whole attitude is not dealing with the stuff that's coming up in his life, but just to fight harder through it. And you can only do that so long until you have a heart attack or have some sort of terrible medical issue or lose all your friends and family or whatever it is, to where you then realize, oh man, all of that stuff I was working towards, where is it now?
Yeah.
It's like the feeling you get when you go through a divorce. It's the feeling that guys get, which is why we have a midlife crisis in our 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever age that hits you. And we're like, what am I doing? You stop and you look around, you're like, what is going on in my life? Who am I even? I don't even know how to define myself anymore. If somebody came up to you at a networking event, instead of saying, what do you do? But they say, who are you? Most guys, I think, would be like, well, I'm a husband. I'm a father. I'm something external to who they actually are. Like I'm a businessman. Like none of those things describe them.
Right.
They describe things they do. So the reason I wrote the book is to be able to speak to those guys, specifically in that kind of middle-age bracket where they're like, now what? What do I do next? And the whole thing is written kind of workbook style. So you go through and you can answer questions or don't answer any questions if you don't want to, but you can answer questions and really try to understand, like, how do I move forward? And I firmly believe that if people just went through it and answer the questions, they would save years of pain and turmoil and therapy and everything else that's needed to try to get there, that I tried to do by myself. Because I didn't have a coach. I didn't have somebody walking me through it. And I wish that I would have, man. I really do.
It's interesting. So there's a person in my life who thinks coaching is dumb. Doesn't want to, he's like,
most of it is.
And a lot of it
let's just start there. So is therapy, by the way. Most of therapy is complete dog shit.
Yep.
I'm just going to say it. And it's good therapists are great, right? Like I had a therapist for years and he really helped me work through some childhood stuff and some trauma and everything else, which is what they're supposed to do. So if you're going to a therapist trying to figure out how to move forward in your life, you have the wrong expectation. It's not going to work. It would be like going to a divorce attorney to try to get therapy. Also not going to work. Not their job. So don't expect them to do it. But most therapists will say that that's their job. It's the same way with a coach. Man, like the oldest joke about life coaches is that they're the ones that failed at life. So they became a life coach.
Yeah.
Right?
I
So
love
yeah, you absolutely have to watch.
life coaches. Those are my favorite.
Yeah. The ones online, I got into it a little bit. Like I don't normally get this snarky online, but I got into it with this. It was a typical like young woman talking about her diet, which doesn't make sense for most humans. I've done enough research and experience in my own life to know that it's just not going to work very well.
Yeah.
And she basically just said, yeah, this works for everyone. I was like, really? Everyone? Because let me give you some examples of people that went through this diet. And here's the issues that they had: heart attack, cancer, heart disease, blah, 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 blah. Right. Going down all this list. And then of course she knows everything because she's 22 or whatever she is. And she's like, no, this works for everybody. I'm like, well, it works for you as a 22-year-old female. Enjoy that body while you have it. Because in 20 years, I promise you, the same exact thing is not going to work. It's just not.
As it turns out, things start really mattering. Yeah. It's about clicks, all of that stuff's about clicks. When I spent a long time traveling around the world working with, lots of different medical entities, foreign militaries, governments. And what I saw over and over again is when somebody has meaning in their life. I love Viktor Frankl. I think he was spot on. When somebody has meaning, when they understand who they are in the context of how they matter, and every one of us matters, right? Some people matter more than other people. Some people walk around and spout stuff that doesn't matter at all as if it's super important, right? But we all matter to somebody. And how we influence, how we make a difference in the world, how we improve lives, when we serve, all those things, that's to me where you really find that peace, that calm, that desire. We just had a guy join our team from, making millions of dollars a year to joining us because he's like, I want to do something that really, really matters. Mm. And had all the money, had all the things, but like at the end of the day, we need to do something. Six pack, it doesn't matter, right? Being healthy matters. Absolutely. Right.
Yeah, I think what we miss a lot, especially online, is what's the purpose of what's going on. Like, I had a very specific purpose for the six pack, as an example. It wasn't so I could just like show it to a bunch of people. I mean, that of course there's a little bit of that in my head for sure, because the odds of like how many men have a six, I mean, look up the percentages, it's very low, very low. But it wasn't for that. It wasn't even for bragging rights. It was for the simple fact of, I need a challenge that's going to be very difficult for me, that is not coming easy, that I know that I have to be really stringent with what I do. I need to be really stringent with what I'm eating and how I'm exercising and how I'm sleeping and how much water I'm having, and all these different things have to line up, especially with my body chemistry. And not to go into too much information, but my family history sucks, man. Like the odds are stacked against me to do it.
Yeah.
I've had enough blood tests to know that. So that was even more reason I wanted to do it. Right. Because I don't want to be a victim that's like, well, I'm just big boned or whatever, whatever people say anymore. I don't know. That's what they used to say when I was a kid.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, I
big
remember that.
boned. I don't even
Like
know. I don't even know
your
what that
bones
means.
are the same size.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
eat too much.
right. So for me, it was, well, I want to be able to stick to this stringent discipline plan and to be able to have this clear goal, to have a clear outcome of the goal, and then to be able to talk to my experience about people, especially guys that are maybe struggling, that are trying to figure out, they've gone up and down in their diet, they've tried to figure things out. And then I can be more of an inspiration to them if I myself was overweight, which I was, and then I worked down all the way to a six pack. I can be more inspirational to somebody trying to do the same thing. But why am I doing that? Well, why I'm doing that is so that I have more motivation, more energy, more excitement, more ability to talk to guys about that. It really has nothing to do with the six pack. So if somebody's out there making money and doing their business for the same reason, because they want to help more guys, great, that's one thing. I'm a huge fan of making money and growing my business, brother. Like
Yeah.
I am actively looking for financial planning clients and men coaching clients right now. Absolutely. If you need one of those two things, reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help. I'm actively doing that. But every single time I do that, every new client that I bring on means that there's somebody else that I can help with my specific story, and I can help them out of my hurt and my pain and my failures. And that's why I do it. I don't do it just for another car.
Right. It's not the thing, it's how you feel and how it creates you. So when I spent most of my life in fantastic shape, and how I felt then and how I feel now, 20 pounds over where I should be, it's different, right? So it's not, the six pack doesn't matter, but how you feel matters, and how you can address the world with that confidence and that determinism and the ability to go out and make a difference because you have the energy, you have the focus. And, I'm sure just eating right and being strict has made a huge difference for you, not just in how you physically feel, but how you mentally feel as well. And I've known folks who struggle with mental health, a lot of them, when they start lifting weights and they start feeling strong, physically strong, it helps them mentally feel stronger. And there's actually quite a bit of evidence about that, supporting that as well. Therapists should encourage you to go.
And the other thing, as an example, the other thing too, just for men that no man ever wants to do, at least I never do, is go for walks.
Oh my gosh.
It's especially for like type A action oriented guys, it seems like the biggest waste of time in the world, right? But I have found that it is one of the most freeing, clearing things that I can do. And I didn't say run, guys, for all you guys are like, oh, I gotta go run then because then I'm accomplishing something. No. Walk without a phone. Like just go on a 15-20 minute walk without a phone. Like really, like I'm encouraging you, go do this too, bro. Oh. Do it today. Do it this week. Will you do it this week?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
All right. 15-20 minutes, man. You don't got to go far. Just go for a walk. Just allow your head to get cleared out. And what I've been doing a lot too the last couple years, I would say, is giving myself verbal affirmations, encouragement. And I'm not talking like cheesy look in the mirror, you are beautiful, not that shit, because I can't handle that. I'm too cynical for that nonsense. But it's really, really powerful if you talk to yourself in the third person and say who you think you are or who your authentic self is. And it's got to be in the third person too, by the way.
Yeah.
So I don't just walk around saying I love myself and I am awesome, because that seems wrong and weird and I'm too cynical to believe it. But if I walk around and I'm like, wow, you really helped that guy today. You're really wise in the financial space. You've been doing this a long time and you've had a lot of success. Like that feels so much better to me because it doesn't feel like this fake thing. It just feels like almost like somebody else is giving me a compliment. It's almost like one part of myself is giving another part of myself encouragement and the ability to actually accept it. So that's been really helpful. But a lot of the times as guys, we're like, no, just push harder. Go lift weights. And I'm not against lifting weights. I lift weights almost every day of my life. I'm a big fan. But
there's a difference.
I think sometimes in our culture especially, this is not true of all cultures, but our culture especially, you need to just take a breath and slow down for a minute. Go for a walk. That could be your meditation. It doesn't have to be this weird cross-legged, arms up, humming, whatever.
Nonsense.
You don't have to download an app. You don't have to get the meditation app to meditate. Like you can just walk and observe. This is something that I love doing with my kids too, is like getting off all the screens and going and walking and observing. Like, wow, I never noticed that flower before. Whoa, look at those people over there. That looks interesting. What's going on at that park over there? You know, just being open to not just staring at your phone the whole time and allowing your space, your brain to have some space.
Josh, we've talked about a lot of things today. I can't emphasize enough how good walking is for the soul, for the mind. You can ideate, you can think. It's been one of the greatest parts of my marriage is walking with my spouse and talking and, you know, just putting away the phone. By the way, it's hard to walk and be on the phone, which is good. It's a good problem to have.
I got it down, brother. So I don't
yeah, it takes practice. Watch out for the cars.
I've had a lot of practice. Yeah.
So it all comes back to who are we being? Who are we becoming? Therapy is to help let go of the past, but it doesn't fix where we're going. And if you're not sure, if somebody's listening and they're saying, I'm not sure what the next step is for me, and they want to reach out to you, how do they reach out to you?
That's a great question. Probably the easiest way, which has all of my contact information, is just head to my website, xderelict.com, exderelict.com. And there's all my information there. Instagram, I'm Josh the Derelict, which they can reach out. I respond to almost all of my messages. It'll either be me or a team member, but eventually you'll get me.
That's fantastic.
So yeah, I think the website's probably the best because that way they can check out the book is there too. And all my socials are there, and however you want to reach out is probably easiest.
Brilliant. Yeah, I've really, really enjoyed our conversation. We don't, you know, mental health, these conversations are ones that we don't have all the time. And, you know, as men tend to shy away from this like crazy, or run away from these kind of conversations like crazy. They just want to come home, watch football, pray to the football gods, watch sports. And that's the way they decompress, but they never actually decompress because their brain just went from stress, work stress, to pretending they're playing football stress. And then there's
no space.
There's no space.
It's easy for me not to have space, brother. I can be on, you know, like I do, like most of us do everything virtual, it seems like these days. So I can be virtually on calls with guys all day long, and then go from that to virtually on my computer to do admin work of whatever I need to get done or whatever my team needs help with, etc. And then I can go directly from that to just like watching TV, and I could just be on a screen 24/7. And there's, it's just, yeah, you need a pause and a space every once in a while, even if it's just walking around the block, even if it's just jumping on a rebounder for a couple minutes. I did want to offer too. I want to offer just something for your audience as well, that I appreciate what you said. If somebody wants to reach out, if this is my offer, if somebody wants to reach out and they want to have just a quick phone call of what's going on in their life, just to see if there's anything I can do to help. And this is not a call just so that I pitch you my services. This is an authentic call. So we just have a conversation of what's going on in your life. I'm happy to offer that to your audience for free. And I know that seems like an odd thing, like, well, of course it's free. Well, it's not free. I mean, I get paid by the hour to coach people. So I'm offering free services for anybody that just, maybe they're in this spot or they feel like the transition's happening and they just want to kind of touch base for a few minutes. I'm happy to do that. So just reach out to me and just mention this podcast, and I'm happy to jump on the phone with you.
Okay. Well, I make sure that's in the show notes. Dude, you're amazing. I've always liked your stuff. Sorry about your face, or I think it's great that the beard's gone. Being supportive, and actually, dude, I think you look great without a beard. So
I appreciate that. The beard is very, it's very polarizing. People either love it or hate it usually. So
yeah,
it's funny. And I'm so backed up on videos right now that I still have a couple weeks of videos of me with a beard on. So I literally haven't been posting stories or anything because I'm just waiting for that all to be done for the big reveal. So you get the big reveal before the general public gets the big reveal.
Oh my goodness, dude. As soon as we hopped on the call, I just was shocked.
Yeah. You're like, who are you? Yeah.
Who are you? Where's Josh?
It's really fun when
man.
you move, right? Like you move from one place to another and then you shave it off and no one knows who you are. If you just ever want to become anonymous again, it's great.
Yeah. Man, I've loved having you on the show, and hopefully we'll have you back sometime before too long and talk some more about this. I love this. I love Man's Search for Meaning. I love the men need to be men. They need to lead. They need to guide. They need to support. They need to be strong for their family. Man, so much evidence about kids growing up without dads in the home. I mean, if you're into like science stuff and that kind of thing, if not, that's cool too. But men need to be men. Not jerks, not rude, not racist, not abusive, none of that stuff. They just need to be good men.
Just it's not about manning up or anything in that nature. It's just about being authentically yourself. That's it.
Yeah.
And authentically yourself, you're courageous and you're strong and you're brave. If you're a man, those are masculine traits. So do that. Cool, man. Thanks for being on the show. Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate you.
I'll make sure the links are in the show notes. And everyone, thank you again. If you want to reach Josh, reach out to his website, xderelect.com. We'll make sure those links are in the show notes, and his book and his offer will all be there. Thank you all, and see you next time.
If this episode shifted your thinking, then share it with someone bold. And remember, capital is a tool. Use it to build a world you are proud to live in.